It is called Leifeng Pagoda. In Hangzhou, China, a 5-story, 8-sided tower still stands on the southern shore of West Lake. According to legend, a white snake that had cultivated supernatural powers for 1,000 years was once imprisoned beneath this tower. On the other side of West Lake, Broken Bridge still exists. According to the story, this was where the white snake first met the man who would later become her husband. They married and had a son. Today, visitors can climb to the top of Leifeng Pagoda and look out across West Lake. Inside the tower, they can also see the remains of the old pagoda. Wooden carvings on the walls tell a story that has circulated in China for centuries. More than 200 kilometers from Hangzhou stands another place that still exists today, Jinshan Temple. In the story, a monk named Fahai detained the white snake's husband inside this temple. To bring him back, the white snake, already pregnant, summoned a flood that engulfed Jinshan. There are no reliable historical records proving that the white snake, Xu Xian, or Fahai ever existed. Yet even today, people still walk across Broken Bridge, climb Leifeng Pagoda, and visit Jinshan Temple to remember the love between a man and a snake. Why did a marriage that violated one of society's deepest taboos come to be remembered as a tragic love story? Why did a monk who subdued demons and protected the human world eventually become the villain? What exactly did he imprison beneath the pagoda, a 1,000-year-old snake demon capable of threatening humanity, or a wife who loved her husband and had just given birth to their child? At the beginning of the story, there was no prison beneath Leifeng Pagoda and no flood at Jinshan Temple. There was only West Lake, Broken Bridge, and a spring rain. In ancient Chinese legend, a white snake cultivated her powers for 1,000 years. She learned to change her form and eventually transformed herself into a woman. She took the name Bai Suzhen. A green snake who traveled with her also assumed human form. She took the name Xiaoqing. They came to Hangzhou and were caught in a heavy rain beside West Lake. As people hurried to find shelter, Bai Suzhen and Xiaoqing stood at the edge of the lake. A young man noticed them. His name was Xu Xian. Xu Xian did not come from a powerful family, and he was not a hero capable of defeating monsters. He was an ordinary man who knew something about medicinal herbs. When he saw the two women stranded in the rain, he lent them his umbrella. That simple act gave Bai Suzhen a reason to see him again. The two soon met for a second time. Bai Suzhen did not tell Xu Xian where she had come from. She also did not tell him that the body standing before him was only a human appearance created through magic. Xu Xian knew only that her name was Bai Suzhen, that she understood medicine, that she was gentle, and that she wanted to build a life with him. Before long, they married. Together, they opened a medicine shop. Xu Xian received the patients, while Bai Suzhen used her knowledge of medicine to prepare treatments. When poor patients could not afford to pay, they sometimes gave the medicine away. To Xu Xian, his wife had harmed no one. In fact, she seemed more willing to help others than many human beings were. But from the beginning, their marriage concealed a question that could not be avoided. Did Xu Xian fall in love with Bai Suzhen, or with the human appearance she had created for herself? If he had known before the wedding that his bride was a snake, would he have made the same choice? To a modern audience, this might appear to be a secret between two people. But in the world of ancient Chinese legend, humans and demons did not belong to the same realm. A demon with 1,000 years of power could change her appearance, command wind and rain, and disappear whenever humans discovered the truth. Human law and human strength could not restrain her. More importantly, not every demon who took human form behaved like Bai Suzhen. In earlier stories about white snakes, a serpent demon disguised as a beautiful woman would seduce men and sometimes take their lives. So when Fahai, a monk from Jinshan Temple, detected demonic energy on Xu Xian, he did not see a marriage that deserved to be blessed. He saw an ordinary man living with a powerful non-human being who had concealed her true identity. Fahai found Xu Xian and told him that his wife was not human. She was a white snake that had cultivated supernatural powers for many years. Xu Xian did not believe him. The Bai Suzhen he saw every day took care of their shop, treated the sick, and discussed family matters with him like any ordinary wife. Fahai then told him to give Bai Suzhen realgar wine during the Dragon Boat Festival. In traditional Chinese belief, realgar could repel venomous creatures and evil spirits. If Bai Suzhen truly was a snake, the wine might weaken her magic and prevent her from maintaining human form. On the day of the festival, Xu Xian placed the wine before his wife. Bai Suzhen knew what might happen if she drank it. She tried to refuse, but Xu Xian continued to urge her. At last, she drank. As the wine took effect, Bai Suzhen retreated into their room. When Xu Xian followed to check on her, he no longer saw his wife. Inside the room was an enormous white snake. The sight terrified Xu Xian. He collapsed immediately. Fahai's warning had now been proven true. Bai Suzhen had concealed her identity. Her real form had also caused a fatal consequence for Xu Xian. But what happened next transformed this simple tale of demon hunting into something more complicated. When Bai Suzhen recovered her human form, she found Xu Xian's body. She did not run away. She did not search for another man to deceive. In the best-known versions, she traveled to an immortal mountain in search of a magical herb that could restore the dead to life. To obtain it, she fought the divine attendants and sacred creatures guarding it. She nearly lost her own life. She brought the herb home and revived Xu Xian. When he awoke, Xu Xian knew what his wife truly was. For the first time, their marriage was no longer based entirely on concealment. He could leave. He could ask Fahai for protection. Instead, he chose to continue living with Bai Suzhen. From that moment, the central question changed. Before Xu Xian knew the truth, Fahai could claim that he was rescuing an ordinary man from deception. But once Xu Xian knew the truth and still chose Bai Suzhen, was Fahai protecting him, or deciding for him how he was allowed to live? Fahai refused to recognize that choice. Later, Xu Xian was invited to attend a Buddhist ceremony at Jinshan Temple. Bai Suzhen urged him not to go. But Xu Xian was a Buddhist believer, and he entered the temple anyway. Fahai kept him there. He told Xu Xian that living with a demon would corrupt his soul. As long as Xu Xian continued returning to Bai Suzhen, the danger would never end. Xu Xian asked to leave. Fahai refused. By this time, Bai Suzhen was pregnant with Xu Xian's child. When her husband failed to return, she and Xiaoqing went to Jinshan Temple and demanded his release. Fahai refused again. Bai Suzhen began to use her powers. She summoned the creatures of the water and called up the river, hoping to force Fahai to surrender Xu Xian. The water rose higher and higher. It soon crossed the riverbanks and surged toward the temple and the surrounding land. This is the scene later known as the flooding of Jinshan. To later audiences, it was the desperate act of a pregnant wife risking everything to rescue her husband. To Fahai, it proved every fear he had expressed. The moment her marriage was obstructed, Bai Suzhen could unleash a flood against a temple. Her power was far beyond anything ordinary human beings could control. Different versions describe the consequences of the flood differently. Some say only the temple and nearby land were submerged. Others say innocent villagers lost their lives. But they share one important detail: the flood did not stop at Fahai's feet. Bai Suzhen wanted to save one person. Many people who had nothing to do with her marriage were placed in danger. For the first time, love could no longer explain or excuse everything she had done. She was not merely a helpless victim waiting to be oppressed. To preserve her marriage, she had also endangered the innocent. Because she was pregnant, Bai Suzhen's powers were weakened. She failed to break through Jinshan Temple and was forced to leave with Xiaoqing. Xu Xian later found a way to escape. He returned to Hangzhou and met Bai Suzhen again at Broken Bridge. Xiaoqing believed Xu Xian did not deserve forgiveness. He had doubted his wife again and again, and he had left her alone outside Jinshan Temple. Bai Suzhen stopped Xiaoqing from hurting him. Xu Xian admitted his fear and hesitation. Bai Suzhen forgave him. They returned home together. Not long afterward, Bai Suzhen gave birth to a boy. In the most widely told versions, his name was Xu Xian. The child's birth created a bond between Bai Suzhen and the human world that could not easily be severed. She was no longer only a snake demon wearing the shape of a woman. She was the mother of a human child. But to Fahai, giving birth did not erase the danger she had already shown. The flooding of Jinshan had demonstrated that as long as Bai Suzhen remained in the human world, her emotions might once again become an uncontrollable disaster. Soon afterward, Fahai came to Xu Xian's home. In one widely circulated version, he gave Xu Xian an alms bowl, claiming that it would bring peace and protection to the newborn child. Xu Xian still did not trust Fahai. But he could not forget the rising water outside Jinshan Temple. He accepted the bowl. As soon as it was brought into the house, the bowl flew toward Bai Suzhen and pulled her inside. Xu Xian begged Fahai to release his wife. Fahai refused. He buried the bowl beneath Leifeng Pagoda and used the entire tower to imprison Bai Suzhen. In some versions, he set a condition that seemed almost impossible: she could regain her freedom only when an iron tree came into bloom. Seen only from this moment, Fahai appeared to have completed a legitimate act of demon subjugation. Bai Suzhen possessed 1,000 years of supernatural power. She had entered human society under a false identity, and she had unleashed a flood to rescue her husband. Imprisoning her could prevent another disaster. But Fahai did not imprison only her power. He also took a mother away from her newborn child and a wife away from a husband who already knew the truth. He did not ask whether Xu Xian wanted this. He gave Bai Suzhen no opportunity to make amends and no limited punishment she could complete. Her sentence was not a few years or even a few decades. It would end only on a day that might never come. Consumed by guilt over his own role in what happened, Xu Xian later entered a monastery. He left his son to be raised by relatives. The family was completely torn apart. The story could have ended there. The snake demon had been subdued, and the monk had defended the order of the human world. By the logic of an early demon-slaying tale, this should have been a victory of good over evil. But later storytellers refused to let the story end that way. Xu Xian grew up and entered the imperial examinations. He placed first and received the highest scholarly honor in the empire. He returned to Hangzhou and went to Leifeng Pagoda to honor the mother who had never been allowed to raise him. In one popular ending, a flower ornament from the young scholar's ceremonial hat fell onto the iron tree. It was as if the tree had finally bloomed. The seal broke, Bai Suzhen emerged from Leifeng Pagoda, and the family was reunited. Bai Suzhen will always be a snake. 1,000 years of cultivation, saving Xu Xian's life, treating the sick, and giving birth to a child can never earn her a place within human society. But if behavior is what matters, Bai Suzhen still cannot be described as completely innocent. She concealed her identity. She allowed Xu Xian to enter their marriage without knowing what she was. And she unleashed a flood that forced innocent people to bear the cost of her love. Fahai did not act without reason. What turned him into the villain may not have been his recognition of a real danger. It may have been his refusal to accept that Bai Suzhen could change, and his refusal to respect the choice Xu Xian made after learning the truth. He placed order above everything else. In the end, he solved the problem in the most absolute way possible: he locked away forever the person who did not fit that order. In 1924, the real Leifeng Pagoda collapsed after centuries of neglect. The Chinese writer Lu Xun responded with an essay titled On the Collapse of Leifeng Pagoda. In the story as he remembered it, Fahai trapped the white snake inside a bowl and buried her beneath the tower. Lu Xun wrote that ever since childhood, he had wished for the pagoda to fall. The real Leifeng Pagoda was later rebuilt on the original site. Today, visitors can enter the new tower and see the ruins of the old one. They can also climb to the top and look across West Lake, where Bai Suzhen and Xu Xian were said to have first met. There is no evidence that a white snake was ever imprisoned beneath the pagoda. But the questions left by the story did not disappear when the old tower fell. If a demon shows more compassion than many human beings, can she be treated as a person? If a monk can see that she might cause a disaster, does he have a duty to stop her? When Bai Suzhen summoned a flood for love, was she a victim who crossed a line, or a dangerous creature finally revealing her true nature? When Fahai imprisoned Bai Suzhen, was he defending justice, or destroying a family in the name of justice? For centuries, every storyteller who retold this legend changed the answer.